Today I just wanted to talk about official versus community servers. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer the wild officials, the lawless land, the vile villainy? Or do you prefer community servers where things are peaceful? Maybe. Either way, you'll have to let me know what your opinion is down in the comments, but I'm also going to give you my opinion. We're going to go over some pros and cons of both, so maybe you don't know which one you want to be on. Hopefully this will help you out too, or you can just agree or disagree with my thoughts. Here we go. Now lately, it sort of feels like mixed packers and mega packs are having one last hurrah before the new matchmaking goes into effect. And now I'm really interested in seeing how these changes, affect people in the future, whether it's mixed packers or just, casuals who like to hook up with randos. Or does it even make that big of an impact to a Discord group, I'm interested. I'm interested to see, and I'm happy that they're making an effort. So what are the cons of growing on officials? For starters, slow growth. Quests and explorations right now are about the only way to grow. I'm including trophies and quests. Having to go to a home cave to change your abilities. Not everyone thinks this is a con, no. There are no rules, and there is little to no moderation except for in the chat. So don't say anything bad, and you can murder whoever you feel like. Teammate, murder. Casual baby, murder. Random Herbie that just looked at you funny, more murder. And speaking of chat, that's another one. Global chat on officials. So fun. So filled with easy EO when it's like 20 people versus one baby Triceratops. Okay, generic Triceratops, whatever. And that's the big one. All these massive Discord groups, all these massive mega packs, mixed packers, herbs and carnivores working together, gross. Though, okay, I'll admit sometimes I'm a little guilty of that, but sometimes your fellow carnivores or your fellow herbies are being jerks, and you have to rescue the poor little whatever else that you aren't. 'Tis life on officials. There ain't any rules. You can judge me. I don't care. But overall, these packs, and I'm not talking about normal packs. I mean, look, like 3 Dasps hanging out together, that's not a mega pack, Now, if they have like 2 Anos, 3 Stegos, 4 Triceratops, I know, Eos, whatever, and like 20 Rexes, then there you go. That's a problem. But yeah, I am talking about the ones that exceed the normal group limits. Because believe it or not, 6 megs, not a mega pack. It's actually within the group limits. Though, of course, 6 megs would have me running for the hills because that's absolutely horrifying. Horrifying, but not a mega pack. Just a mega pain in the ass. So at this point, why even play here? Why even play on officials? 1, my dinos are never going to disappear. The dinos you raise on official servers are there forever. They will not be reset by, and this is per the Discord, for Path of Titans. I can't remember if it was Matt or Jiggy. 2, I don't have to wait in a 30-minute queue just to play my dinos. I don't think I've ever waited more than about a minute and some change, and that's at most. Most of the time it just takes like 20 seconds. Or I'm lucky, I don't know. Let me know if you've ever had to wait longer than 30 seconds for an official server. On average, of course. Officials is good for just goofing off and mindless play. Want to steal a trophy? Do it. Want to steal some food? Do it. Want to harass a player as like a little Denani? Do it. Jump on them. Annoy them. Yeah, I don't know. Bite them or don't. It's up to you. It's entirely up to you how you play that dinosaur. Do you want to be a pesky little Campto toe muncher? Absolutely. Go for it. A lot of the times on community servers, there's rules around that behavior that prevent you from doing it. But when it comes to like the downside of community server, I'm trying to keep it off this list as much as possible. Off the official pros. Anyways, though we have to be honest that a lot of the downside of a community servers plays into why officials isn't the worst, but we'll get to that when we cover that. I also love that the server is almost always full. I honestly can't wait until we actually reach 200 or so players. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Just me? And whatever number this is, I also don't mind officials because, why, yes, absolutely, there's a bunch of tryhards out there. It happens. I've also met some really great, just kind of casual, chill players. I mean, as long as you're not running around biting everything that moves. I mean, most of the time, people just kind of leave you alone. Not all the time, though, because it's officials. But that's what makes it fun. You never know. And I've lost count. But I will also argue that official servers is more realistic than any realism server you could possibly jump on. The reason why is because I've been around a lot of animals. I've been around a lot of herbivores. My mom raised horses, and I'm just gonna say that every single one of them, if given the opportunity, would be a huge asshole. I'm gonna tell you a true story. I lived in Alaska once for 4 years, and trust me, coming around a corner and scaring a moose is more horrifying than coming around the corner and scaring a bear. Why? The moose will try to kill you, the bear will run away. Just think about all the really vicious herbivores in your life. Think about rhinoceroses. Think about hippos. Think about water buffalo. Some seriously scary herbivores that will absolutely try to kill you because you're in their space. And that's not even including the elephant that walked God only knows how many miles to desecrate the grave of a woman who offended him. I mean, come on. Elephants are herbivores. I'm not saying the elephant was wrong in that case, but, herbivore does not mean friendly or passive. But overall, for me, in short, on official, it feels like a real challenge. It's difficult. Sometimes it drives me nuts. And then I have to go jump over to a community server for a little while, just to kind of reset my brain. So with that, let's get into community servers. Okay. So what are some of the pros of being on a community server? 1, you get to pick the type of experience that you want to have. Want hard realism? Go for it. Want semi-realism? Go for it. You want fantasy? There you go. Dragons, griffins. You can find a community server that fits how you want to play. And so that's nice. Most community servers have passive growth. That's a huge help when you're trying to grow in Apex. And you can also pick how much growth you want depending on the server. The most obvious reason to play on a community server is mods. Mods? Yeah, anything. You could be a cube of meat, a weird Rex. You can be something we're missing, like dillos and fish. Lots and lots of fishes. The ocean is practically booming on some servers, and maps. I feel the one thing that brings most people to community servers is its moderation. You get the type of experience that you're looking for without the mix packs, mega packs, things like that. Your dinosaur plays a profile. I feel a lot of people really like that aspect of community servers. Though to be fair, there's plenty of servers that also have no rules or focus just on PvP. Well, this sounds wonderful. What could possibly go wrong on a community server at this rate? Well, I'll tell you some of my experiences near the end, but let me know if you agree with me. But a big one that a lot of people complain about when on community servers is admin abuse. All those favoritism for using commands to benefit friends and screwing everybody else over. Another con a lot of people have a problem with on community servers is trying to remember books and pages and novels and a whole entire series of rules just for their one dino. Not even to mention, if they have to remember the other stuff. I will admit, 5 dedicated tabs to rules in a Discord server is very intimidating. I've seen some servers that had whole entire videos on how the heck you're supposed to act. I avoid those ones. That's not for me. But of course, I'm not here to judge. You play your dino how you want it, and if it comes with an instruction manual, have at it. Another con? Mods. I know they're also a pro, but they're also kind of a con, because the problem is a lot of these dinos are very unbalanced. They don't play or mesh well. They have stats or abilities that overdo a lot of the base game dinos, and a lot of the time they're just wrecking the normal roster. Moving on now to the wait list. A lot of the times your community server might be full. Now, I will say there has been a recent improvement to the queue, which has been very, very nice. But still, not everybody wants to wait to get on the server. Another huge con about community servers is when they go bust. You could have spent a year, 6 months, doesn't matter. You spent a significant amount of time putting into these dinos, and now they're gone. And sometimes they're just gone because of an update. But either way, just having your whole entire roster disappear into the nether, it's very disappointing. A little disheartening. Me personally, I like a little mix of both. I really enjoy the challenge and unpredictability of official servers. I really enjoy not knowing what's going to happen when I log in. Sometimes if I'm having a bad experience, maybe I'll just go swap out, change what server I'm on officials. Or maybe I'll be like, I'm so done of mixed packs right now, I think, or mega packs really. I think I'm just gonna go hang out on the community server for a while. And then I hang out on a community server for a while, and I sort of think to myself, wow, this is really boring. If I'm playing a carnivore, a lot of the times I'll just be kind of waiting for my hunger to go down, since I play mostly on semi-realism. Then other times I'll be an herbivore, just hoping somebody will fight me because I'm bored. Now there are servers where you can be as slightly aggressive as a herbivore. I'm on a couple of those, but still. It feels like, me personally, I feel like I die a lot more on community servers because it never fails. If I'm ever just solo, grouping is so much easier, so you're almost always outnumbered. But I guess it's also easier to join a group and not have to worry about trust issues. Alright, now I had promised that I would share at least one little story, but there was a community server that I used to be on, and I used to play on it a lot, and most of my dinos were grown there. I think there was a point where I had more on the community server than I had on official. Not now, because I have like every dinosaur but the aquatic ones. But either way, I think my last straw on that one was we had like a body down rule, and so me and my group of Ceratos were hunting a Metri, and we've been following it, waiting for this body down rule to get lifted. And usually there's only one body down per whole area. Anyways, and I'll just say that I had a Cerato that had never been defeated in combat. I was waiting for it to happen, it just hadn't happened yet, and I was pretty proud of that fact. It was gloriously scarred, and I was like, holy crap, it hasn't been defeated in legitimate battle just yet. So while we're waiting, we're following this Metri, waiting for that body down, to get called, that, body gone. So once we see that body gone come through on general chat, then we switch over to group chat so we can kind of coordinate, because we weren't on Discord. So as we start chasing the Metri, hunting the Metri, and then as we're going through it, all of a sudden my Sarah falls down dead. Just falls down dead. And to be honest, I was like, what the heck, man? And I respawn, so I'm asking about what had happened, and come to find out that I guess there had been 2 bodies down, so we had to wait for 2 bodies to be gone. But this isn't the normal rule, like this doesn't normally happen. We didn't know that there was 2 bodies, and it didn't used to happen that way on the server. So it was kind of like, how are we supposed to know? Why did you have to kill my whole dinosaur? Especially since they were notorious for grabbing players, taking them over to like groups to get killed. It was something that the server used to do. And I know it had caused some issues. Not just me. Yeah, I think it was just, after a while I was kind of like, I really gotta figure out the rules on a whole different server. And so that's one of my stories that I was kind of like, I don't always like being on community servers. Always kind of feels like, there's always a little bit of favoritism or a little bit of admin abuse. I've seen some really great moderated community servers though. I think Nat Hist does a very good job, so I'll definitely call them out. I play on them more, but they're always full, and I've got the attention span and available time of a goldfish. But of course, my recommendation is, if you only play on community servers, I'd really give official a chance. And if you only play on official and are getting tired of being jumped by mega packs, give community a chance. Just break it up a little bit. You know, honestly, you don't like any of that? Well, why not make your own server? And see if you can't talk people into playing with you. Well, let me know if you agree with my list of pros and cons. I know one person's pro can be another person's con, and then vice versa. So you'll have to let me know if you agree with me or not. Also, if you know of a few good community servers or have one that you prefer, why not just drop it in chat? I'll make sure that I list a few of my favorites in the description. And yeah, other than that, have fun. Bye.